everyone, and thanks for joining us. This is AMECO, our English service, and you're watching our daily updates. I'm Gaila Damu. Do stay with us. Deputy Premier and Foreign Minister called on European Union and member states to support Ethiopia's post-conflict rehabilitation endeavors. Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Affairs Minister AMECO called on the European Union and its member states to assist Ethiopia's post-conflict rehabilitation endeavors. Abebe Brahani reports.
AMECO briefed the EU ambassadors and diplomats at Sheraton Addis Hotel on the implementation of the peace agreement in northern Ethiopia. He said on the occasion that Ethiopia and the European Union enjoy a historical and well-rounded partnership. Ethiopia thus attaches special value to its partnership with the Union. The Deputy Premier stated that the European Union has deployed creative mechanisms to support vulnerable people in Ethiopia with humanitarian assistance and social impact projects, and this is a testimony to this partnership. As Ethiopia is implementing the peace agreement signed for lasting peace through a permanent cessation of hostilities in Pretoria, South Africa, AMECO requested the European Union to support implementation efforts of the country in this regard.
All health and school facilities are damaged by this tragic conflict. We must promptly rehabilitate public facilities and vital infrastructure and return normalcy for the people in the conflict-affected areas to enjoy the fruits of peace. I'm confident the EU will generously lend its support for the post-conflict rehabilitation and reconstruction and rebuilding of the livelihoods of these communities. The EU is also one of Ethiopia's major trading partners. In the spirit of our partnership, we shall work with you to leverage access to essential financing from multilateral financial institutions.
According to AMECO, the European Union is also one of the major trading partners in the spirit of its partnership with Ethiopia. He pointed out that his country will work with the Union to leverage access to essential financing from multilateral financial institutions. Speaking on the ongoing implementation of the peace agreement, the government is earnestly taking measures to implement the agreement. He pointed out that the latest meeting in Shire has also been successful between the senior commanders on modalities for the implementation of the agreement signed in Nairobi, Kenya.
The commitment we made to cease hostilities permanently and for disarmament are far-reaching for our country. The agreement has provided us the opportunity to find durable solution to political disputes and restore constitutional order. We have also agreed to implement a transitional justice framework to pursue accountability, trust, truth-telling, healing, and reconciliation. We are now earnestly taking measures to implement the agreement.
The government of Ethiopia has established a commission to implement the task of demobilization and reintegration aspects of its efforts based on the agreement. It was learned that the commission provides the necessary institutional framework for demobilization and reintegration of the former combatants. The Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister thus urged the European Union to play a constructive role in this regard.
We welcome for the EU to play a constructive role in supporting African Union monitoring mechanism. This mechanism will rely on technology and logistics. The EU is well placed to provide these enabling provisions to the mechanism.
AMECO once again reaffirmed Ethiopia's commitment for peace and its keenness to restore a broad-based developmental coordination and political dialogue.
Executive Secretary said IGAD registered encouraging results in ensuring peace in the region. Intergovernmental Authority for Development Executive Secretary Workneh Gebeyehu said that the bloc has registered concrete results in bringing peace and stability in the region. Modomuriye tells us more.
This was disclosed at a meeting IGAD has held in Bishoftu town to evaluate its 2022 performance and key achievements as well as plan for the next year. During the occasion, the Executive Secretary said ambassadors and experts of IGAD member countries have held consultations on key issues. According to him, IGAD has registered concrete changes in its effort to ensure peace and security in the region in 2022. In this regard, he cited the peace agreement reached between the government of Ethiopia and TPLF under the auspices of the African Union, as well as the agreement to bring peace in Sudan as positive achievements registered in the year. The Executive Secretary stressed the need for enhanced financial capacity as IGAD takes the major responsibility for sustaining peace and stability in the region. IGAD's budget in the year 2022 had increased by 10%, Workneh said, adding that the growth of its budget in the coming year by 15% will help the engagement of the bloc that requires strong commitment of member countries. He urged member countries to improve their limitation in fulfilling their respective budget to IGAD in terms of time and amount. Member countries of IGAD have fulfilled only 42% of the budget that they had endorsed, he pointed out. Workneh finally underlined the need for strong financial capability in order to effectively implement the 2021-2025 strategy of IGAD.
Minerals and Geosciences Center urges African governments to cooperate for maximum benefit from mineral wealth. African Minerals and Geosciences Center Director General Ibrahim Shaddad said that African countries need to cooperate to ensure maximum benefit from their mineral wealth. Workneh tells us more.
In an exclusive interview with INA, the Director General said cooperation of institutions responsible in the mining sector among African countries is of paramount significance for integration and exchange of information and building skill of expertise. This could be done through exchange of visits and training opportunities with countries, he added.
We have to cooperate in the field and in offices by exchange of data, sharing our best practices. This is the only way we survive and promote our multilateral, bilateral beneficiation from the mineral potentialities and to mineral resources to be a real mineral wealth.
There are small-scale miners along the border who engage in smuggling, illicit mineral trade, and affecting countries not benefit from their own wealth, Shaddad noted. Through discussion and cooperation, the ministries and geological institutes could formalize the sector and control the benefits of each of the countries. According to him, illicit mineral trade may create conflict and need conflict-free beneficiation of mineral wealth between African countries. Countries could come to discuss about multilateral and bilateral benefits of mining technically, he added, regarding the efforts being exerted by the Ethiopian government to intensify regional integration. Shaddad said, it is unappreciable effort that all the governments of the region should join. It is in the interest of nations and have so many common tribes along the borders, which is something arbitrary that has been created by the colonial powers, the Director General elaborated. He advised all Africans that have common borders to carry out transboundary activities to benefit the huge number of people traveling across the borders. In this regard, he appreciated the efforts of the Ethiopian government and he called on the other governments to cooperate for multilateral and bilateral beneficiation. The African Minerals and Geosciences Center, formerly known as Southern and Eastern African Mineral Center, was established in 1977 to principally carry out regional geological survey and to provide minerals exploration and consulting services for programs of its founding member states. The member states are Ethiopia, Tanzania and Mozambique, later joined by Uganda, Angola and the Comoros. Kenya became a member in 2006 and the Sudan joined in 2010. In 2007, the ministerial meeting in Maputo decided that membership is open to all African states. To reflect this expansion of the scope, the name of the center was changed to African Minerals and Geosciences Center starting from July 2015.
An expert said capital markets are important to help raise capital from external and domestic sources. Senior Policy Advisory Konstantinos Brutesva said that the capital markets being introduced to Ethiopia are very important to the economy as they would raise capital from external and domestic sources of finance. Modomlige has the details.
It is to be recalled that the government had established an institution and appointed leaders to start the long-awaited capital markets in Ethiopia. The Senior Policy Advisory told Ethiopian News Agency that starting capital markets in Ethiopia is crucial to the private sector in the Ethiopian economy.
Capital markets are very important for the national economy in terms of raising capital for development projects that the government or private sector is undertaking. And capital markets are also very important in terms of building the capital of the private sector.
He stated that starting capital market will give opportunities for public and private banks, companies and others which are advertising on media outlets to sell shares to have prospectus of profit-making status that makes investors' buying decision easier with minimized risk. If we have capital markets, people will go and buy shares when they see a company is making profit. They will buy shares, the policy advisor added.
If you advertise, for example, a new company, and you say this company is going to be a game changer in a sense, then people will take risks to invest in this company. That's where the capital market is going to be an important player.
He, however, believes that introducing capital markets should be aligned with other reforms of economic components. According to him, capital markets cannot function alone. They have to be part of a sea of other components, including ease of doing business, financial liberalization, transformation, and intermediation that are very significant in the development of financial markets in the country. Elaborating further, he mentioned the agricultural sector in Ethiopia by pointing out that the country has huge potential in agriculture with 74 million hectares of agricultural land and rivers outflowing more than 100 billion cubic meters of water annually. For him, investing in this immense agricultural potential is crucial and needs huge financing. The capital markets will contribute to solving this primary investment challenge, especially for Ethiopian investors. Konstantinos acknowledged that the Commercial Bank of Ethiopia and Development Bank of Ethiopia have been giving agricultural loans to transform the country's import substitution. The senior advisor further stated that the introduction of the capital markets in Ethiopia will enable domestic companies which want to raise capital in the international stock market to have their prospectus of profit making so that investors can buy from anywhere in the world without the need to come to Ethiopia and get investment license. Ethiopia approved a new capital markets establishment proclamation in 2021 to provide legal foundation for the development of capital markets in the country and to support economic development through increased capital mobilization, financial innovation and risk-sharing investment.
When we proceed to news beyond borders, Angola hosts 10th summit of the OACPS, which represents 79 states. The Organization of African, Caribbean and Pacific Group of States, which represented 79 countries, held its penultimate meeting in Angola's capital, Luanda. It's the 10th Heads of State Summit that the Organization of African, Caribbean and Pacific Group States has held, and the first of three that Angola will hold as the rotating presidency. The theme for this year's meeting is titled Three Continents, Three Oceans, A Common Destiny, Building a Resilient and Sustainable OACPS. Angola decided that it should focus on the pressing issues of climate change and good governance, including combating corruption. According to the World Bank, future sea levels projected to increase in the range of 10 to 100 centimeters. By the year 2100, the entire country could be submerged. The island state joined the Organization of African, Caribbean and Pacific Group States only this year, but is desperate to gain international support to counter the threat. The President of the European Union, Charles Michel, and UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres were also expected to attend the summit. That's all the news we have for today. I'm Gaila Damu. Thanks for watching and stay tuned with the rest of our programs.